Hi, welcome to another video. So it's day 15 of my 30-day content challenge, and I am not becoming her, but I am becoming me, and I love it. So I'm in the middle of this content challenge, and the identity shift that's happening, it's not what I expected, but better. You see, I recently stumbled across a YouTube video about the whole becoming her concept and how creating content helped the creator start embodying that version of herself. Now, I get the concept from a subconscious reprogramming perspective. I really do. I get this, idea where you envision how you want to be in the world, what kind of habits you want to have, and what kind of habits you want to break. But when you actually practice it, I think that you start realizing her was just an illusion of something outside, and it was you the whole time. Because like everything, it has two sides. I think that the good side of, starting a challenge and committing to a practice is that, you're committing to a practice that feels good and makes you proud of staying consistent and doing something for you. But I think that the B side, it's unconsciously say to yourself that I'm not that person yet. I'm becoming who I am is not enough, or it's wrong. So I need to become someone better. Again, I get this idea of breaking bad habits or things that are no good for you. But this is more about the self-concept, about how you see yourself and seeing yourself as good enough without having to do anything to be good enough. That's the main shift. That's the main understanding that who you are is valuable, is good enough, and worthy of all of the good things that life has to offer. Now, I have a story. I called it The Girl Who Stopped Trying to Be Her. I remember reading a story from a girl that really stayed with me. She said, I just stopped looking at Pinterest girls like they were better than me. And I accepted that who I am is amazing. And that's when everything I wanted manifested. And I love that so much. To me, that's true empowerment in a world where people are scared to just be themselves. And I get that it's not an easy journey. Healing enough to trust that you can be yourself and still be loved, not for who you think you need to be, but for who you already are. If who you are is okay, and that version of you is just you being more unapologetic and more committed to what matters to you in taking care of you and loving yourself and setting boundaries if it's required, isn't that way better than trying to become like someone else or some idea of what's better or what's her? And that's why I approach it consciously, not hating myself if it's not perfect, but committing to the practice anyway, committing to show up just as I am. And for me, that's empowerment. And that's why what I love seeing in other people, especially other women. I can feel when they're having fun being themselves, creating a life they love without asking for permission. Even Dr. Joe Dispenza has a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And while I get the idea of not limiting yourself, I think the title is more of a hook. Because really, the most empowered people are the ones who allow themselves to become more of who they already are. And that's incredibly magnetic. And that looks different for everyone. In my case, I couldn't care less about a Birkin bag, but I can appreciate that some women love that and enjoy it, and that's perfectly fine. Other women love nature, want, an animal sanctuary and want money, so they can create that. And some women love the Birkin bag and the animal sanctuary because we're all collages of interests and passions, diverse, different, and unique. And I see all of that as proof of what's possible. Proof that I get to create my own rules, even if it takes a lot of courage. And I would say, yes, break the habit of not being yourself. Now, when I say be yourself, I'm not talking about clinging to unhelpful behaviors or using "that's just how I am" as an excuse. I'm not talking about entitlement, arrogance, or being disrespectful with other people. To me, that's not empowerment, but fear disguised. The people who are genuinely themselves, the happy ones, the grounded ones, are not out there creating more chaos. They're the ones healing the world simply by being heart-centered, self-respecting, and solid enough to have real boundaries. They protect their energy so they can serve at their best. And that's the kind of her I care about, and that this challenge is helping me acknowledge, because it's the one that can be consistent because she's having fun and staying inspired to create from inner truth. When I connect with something that to me feels like my truth and being myself more and more, I feel like, yeah, I can be consistent with that because it's just about me being who I am and standing for what I believe in. So I love that. I can create endless content about that. So again, it's just a version of you who's finally safe enough to be you, confidently, consciously, and with your whole heart in the room. So thank you so much for listening. If this resonated with you and you feel like leaving a comment or sending a message, you can do it. I feel like I really love this content challenge, like conscious content challenge, right? Like not forcing myself to be someone else or performing in a certain way, but just exploring what feels good to me. I started at the beginning of November, and I'm working with a coach. Her name is Edina. She really empowers other women to create content and build their businesses. And what I loved about her approach was that she really encouraged me to just create consistency and post, because that is going to be the way that I'm going to get to know myself better and see what can resonate with the audience, but also what resonates with me. I feel like when building a business, there's a combination of what resonates for your audience and what it resonates for you, because that's when you can be consistent and have fun. And I think in this moment in time, there are women starting to create their own businesses, having a positive impact on other people's lives and making money with it. And that is creating a positive impact in all of other women that are looking to create that, to know that they can do it in their own way. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it doesn't take courage. I'm not saying it doesn't take some amount of healing to be able to do that and put yourself out there however you can. But I think it's so worth it. I think we are so worth it of doing it. And I'm genuinely excited about what's coming next, because I trust myself enough to keep creating. So thank you so much. And remember to keep it simple, have fun, and stay inspired. Bye.